Have you ever been driving along, minding your own business, and suddenly the check engine light pops on? And to make things weirder, your fuel gauge is acting all funny. Well, you might just be dealing with the infamous P0463 code. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what that means for you and your car.
So if that light is on and you plugged in a code reader and it spit out P0463, you are in exactly the right place. Don't worry, I promise. It's not as scary as it sounds, and we are absolutely going to figure this out together.
All right, let's get right to it. First things first, what in the world does this cryptic code, P0463, actually mean? Let's decode it.
Okay, that sounds super technical, right? Fuel level sensor A circuit high input. But all it really means is that your car's main computer, it's called the PCM, or Powertrain Control Module, is getting a signal from your fuel sensor that's just too high. The voltage is out of whack.
And that's really the heart of the issue. That high voltage signal is basically shouting the tank is full to the car's computer, even if you've been driving for hours. And that's exactly why the number one symptom is a fuel gauge that's just stuck on F or jumping all over the place.
So, what are you actually seeing from the driver's seat? Well, besides the check engine light, it's all about that gauge. It might be inaccurate, stuck, or maybe you're getting that super confusing flashing low fuel light even though you just filled up. And of course, the biggest real-world danger here is running out of gas when your car is telling you you're totally fine.
Okay, so we get what's happening. Now for the fun part. Let's put on our detective hats and figure out why. What's actually causing this little electrical meltdown?
You know, this chart is fantastic because it gives us a huge clue right off the bat. Look at that. In about half of all cases, the problem is the fuel level sensor itself. That immediately becomes our prime suspect, which helps us narrow down the search in a big way.
Now, this is a really important point. This is not about your fuel pump failing. Your car is probably running just fine. This is purely a communication breakdown. It's a bad phone connection between the sensor in the tank and the computer up front.
So while that sensor is definitely suspect number one, we can't ignore the rest of the crew here. The problem could be anything from a frayed wire, a rusty connector, a bad ground wire on the tank, or even something as simple as the little float arm getting physically jammed. And yeah, a bad computer is on the list, but honestly, that's pretty rare.
Okay, let's get practical. How can you, or your mechanic, go about systematically hunting down the real source of this problem?
Here's your game plan. Following these steps in this exact order is the smartest way to tackle it. You always want to start with the easy stuff first. You know, a simple visual check of the wires and plugs before you start digging in and testing the actual parts.
Now here's a great old-school mechanics trick. If you can get a multimeter hooked up to the sensor, try rocking the car side to side. As the fuel sloshes around, the float in the tank should move, and you should see the resistance numbers on your meter change nice and smoothly. If they jump like crazy or don't move at all, well, bingo. You've almost certainly found your culprit.
And this table here, this is basically your cheat sheet for that test. Every car maker has a different spec. You see, for a Ford, full might be around 15 ohms, while empty is up at 160. So you just compare your readings to your car's specific numbers. If they're way off, that's the final nail in the coffin for that sensor.
So you've played detective, you've followed the clues, and you've found the bad guy. The good news is, from here, the fix is usually pretty straightforward.
So, what does the fix look like? Well, depending on what you found, it could be as simple as repairing a wire, cleaning a rusty connector, or just tightening a loose ground bolt. But let's be honest, more often than not, it means you're going to be replacing that fuel level sensor. And just a heads up, on many modern cars, that sensor is built into the whole fuel pump unit, so you might have to replace the entire assembly.
Look, if you remember just one thing from all this, please let it be this. Don't panic. P0463 is not a sign that your engine is about to explode. It's an electrical communication problem, not a mechanical failure. Your car isn't dying, it's just temporarily confused about how much gas it has.
So now you get it. You know the problem, you know the causes, and you know the potential fixes. You're empowered. And that brings us to the final question. You can definitely check the wiring and grounds yourself, but replacing the sensor often means dropping the entire gas tank. So what's it going to be? Is it time to roll up your sleeves, or is it time to call your favorite mechanic?